Take a deep breath. Hold it for a moment. And let it go. I want you to think about the pressure you feel right now. Not the specific deadlines or the emails waiting in your inbox, but the deeper, heavier weight sits just behind your reps. It's that subtle, nagging voice that wakes you up at match staring at the ceiling, whispering that you are falling behind. That you are not enough yet. That you should be further along by now. We live in a world that is obsessed with the extraordinary. From the moment we are old enough to understand language, we are told that we must be special. We must stand out. We must build a legacy. We scroll through feeds of people living optimized, high-definition lives, bummy under bummy list, influencers traveling to a place we can't pronounce, peers announcing promotions that sound important. And in the silence of your own room, looking at the gray reality of your ordinary Tuesday, it is easy to feel like you are failing. It is exhausting, isn't it? The constant performance. The feeling that your life is a project to be managed rather than an experience to be lived. You carry this burden of potential like a heavy stone in your backpack, terrified that if you put it down, you will settle for mediocrity. You worry that if you stop running, you will disappear. But I want to offer you a different perspective today. A quieter truth. What if the ambition that drives you is actually the thing that is breaking you? What if the desire to be special is the very thing preventing you from being happy? Welcome. Here at the Stoic Sanctuary, we don't deal in hacks or quick fixes. We do in the ancient art of endurance and clarity. And today, I want to talk to you about the Stoic art of being ordinary. Let's look at this need to be the main character. Modern psychology calls it the spotlight effect, the belief that everyone is watching us, judging our performance, grading our success. We act as if we are the protagonist in a movie, and every setback is a plot twist we have to overcome to win the audience's approval. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus saw the trap nearly 2,000 years ago. He described life as a play. He said, remember that you are an actor in a drama of such a kind as the author pleased to make it. If short of a short on if long of a long one. You see, most of us are miserable because we are trying to be the playwright, the zifter, and the casting agent all at once. We scream at the script when things don't go our way. We demand a bigger role. We want more lines, better lighting, a standing ovation. But Epictetus reminds us your only job is to play the roles given to you well. Whether you are a king or a beggar, a CEO or a quit clerk, the value is not in the title of the role, but in the excellence of the performance. When you demand to be special, you are handing the keys to your happiness over to things you cannot control, timing, the opinions of strangers, the economy. You are building your house on quicksand. Seneca, the great Roman statesman who had everything, wealth, power, fame, warned us about his seductive trap ambition. He wrote about men who weren't so busy trying to secure the future that they never actually lived. He said, life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. Think out that word anxious. Is that not the defining emotion of our time? We are anxious because we have been sold a lie. To lie is that ordinary means worthless. We are terrified of being average. We treat the word average like an insult. But let's deconstruct this. To be ambitious, in the modern sense, is often just a fancy word for being dissatisfied. It creates a perpetual state of not yet. You tell yourself, you will be happy when you get that job, or you will finally relax when you have that amount in the bank. But notice what you are doing. You are trading the only thing you actually possess, the present moment, this breath, for a future that may never arrive. You are starving yourself today in hopes of a feast tomorrow. Seneca would ask you, how long will you wait to be who you are? The cost of this constant striving is your peace. It is the tightness in your chest. It is the inability to sit in a chair and just look out the window without reaching for your phone to check if you matter yet. So, how shall we escape? How shall we put down this burden of potential without giving up on life? The answer lies in a radical shift in perspective. We need to zoom out. Way out. Imagine for a moment the timeline of the universe. It is rollingly back 10 billion years old. Now, imagine the timeline of human history, a mere blink of an eye in comparison. Now, zoom in further to your life. A microscopic flash of light in an infinite cavern of darkness. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled the known world, used this exercise constantly to humble himself. He would look at the stars and remind himself of the infinity of time past and the infinity of time to come. He realized that even the most famous men of his era, the conquerors, the kings, the legends, would eventually be forgotten. Their names would turn to dust, just like their bodies. This might sound depressing at first, but stay with me. It is actually the most liberating thought you can have. If your legacy is destined to fade, if the applause will eventually go silent, then the pressure is off. You don't have to save the world. You don't have to be remembered for 2,000 years. You don't have to optimize every second to ensure you leave a mark. The universe doesn't demand that you be a superstar. It only asks that you be part of the whole. Consider the fig tree. Marcus Aurelius loved to use nature as a teacher. Does a fig tree suffer from anxiety because it isn't a sequoia? Does a bee have an existential crisis because it isn't an eagle? No. The fig tree just grows figs. It does its work. It follows its nature. It don't compare its fruit to the tree next to it. It simply is. We are the only creatures who torment ourselves with the idea of what we could be. We reject our own nature, which is often quite social and simply in favor of a fabricated image of greatness. I want you to consider that ordinary is not a failure. Ordinary is the soil from which everything real grows. When you stop trying to float above everyone else, you land back on the ground. And on the ground, you can finally connect. You can finally rest. Think about the most peaceful moments of your life. Were they when you were achieving something massive? Or were they the quiet moments? A cup of coffee in the early morning silence. A look with a friend that made your stomach hurt. The feeling of cool sheets after a long day. These are not extraordinary events. They are deeply, beautifully ordinary. And they are where life actually happens. But letting go of ambition is terrifying. I know. It feels like a death. It feels like admitting defeat. You might be thinking, if I stop striving, won't I just become lazy? Won't I waste my life? This is the great paradox. You see, Stoicism is not about resignation. It is not about lying on the couch and letting life wash over you. It is about a different kind of effort. When you remove the desperate need for external validation, you don't stop working. You actually work better. Because your hands are no longer shaking with the fear of failure. You are no longer paralyzed by the thought, what will they think of this? You are free to simply do the work for the sake of the work itself. Think of an archer. This is a classic Stoic metaphor. The archer focuses entirely on his stance, his breathing, the tension of the bowstring, and his aim. He's everything within his power to shoot the arrow perfectly. That is his ambition to be a master of his own action. But the moment the arrow leaves the string, it is gone. A gust of wind might blow it off course. The target might move. The modern, anxious person screams at the wind. They feel like a failure if the arrow misses, even if their farm was perfect. But the Stoic understands that the hit is not up to them. Only the release is. When you embrace the ordinary, you are shifting your focus from the target which you cannot control back to the bow which you can. You start asking different questions. Instead of asking, will this make me famous? Or will this make me rich? You ask, is this virtue? Is it useful? Did I do it with care? There is a profound peace in that shift. It allows you to engage with your life right now, rather than constantly peering over the horizon. And there is another hidden benefit to dropping the mask of specialness. It connects you back to humanity. Think about the people you feel most comfortable around. Is it the person who is constantly broadcasting their achievements, the one who makes sure you know how busy and important they are? Or is it the person who is vulnerable, the one who admits they are tired, the one who laughs at their own mistakes? When you strive to be extraordinary, you inadvertently build a wall between yourself and others. You are up here on the stage and they are down there in the audience. It is lonely on the stage. But the Stoics believed in sympathy, the idea that all things are mutually woven together. We are all part of the same organism. When you top your ordinariness, you realize that your struggles are not unique flaws, they are the shared human experience. Your anxiety, your doubt, your fatigue. These are not signs that you are broken. They are signs that you are human. Suddenly, you are not competing with your neighbor, you are walking past them. You can look at a stranger on the subway looking at their phone, worrying about the round bills and feel a surge of kinship rather than judgment. You are both in the same boat, navigating the same strange waters of existence. That is a far richer way to live than constantly trying to be the captain of a solo ship. So, let's confront the thief of your joy, the when. 10. Trap. We all know it. When he get the promotion, then he'll feel secure. When he lost 10 pounds, then he'll like myself. When he finished 10, then he'll rest. Seneca called this expectancy. He said it is the greatest obstacle to living. It is the habit of leaning forward so far you the future that you fall over in the present. The problem with the when. 10. Mindset is that the goalpost always moves. The human brain is designed to adapt. The moment you achieve the thing you thought would save you, your brain normalizes it within weeks, sometimes days, and sets a new target. You reach the mountaintop only to find it's just another piece of ground, and there is a higher peak in the distance. If you cannot find satisfaction in the ordinary process of your day, in the coffee, the commerce, the work, the conversation, you will not find it in the extraordinary outcome. The someday you are waiting for is a ghost. The only reality is now. I want to try something with you. A practice to help enter this feeling. Wherever you are, if it's safe to do so, I want you to close your eyes. If you're driving or walking, just soften your gaze. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. I want you to imagine you are floating out of your body. Rise up through the ceiling of the room you are in. Hiker. Look down and see yourself sitting there. See the building you are in. Now, rise higher. See your neighborhood. See the cars moving like little toys through the streets. People rushing to meetings, arguing in traffic, worrying about being late. From this height, their stress looks so small. Go higher. See your city. A sprawling patch of gray and green. See the clouds drifting over it. Higher still. See the continent. See the curve of the earth. The blue oceans. The vast, silent deserts. Now, look at the earth from space. A pale blue dot suspended in a sunbeam. Surrounded by the infinite, silent black of the cosmos. In this view, your career anxiety. Where is it? That embarrassing thing you said 3 years ago. Where is it? The pressure to be a success. Does it even make sense up here? This is the Stoic practice known as the view from above. It is not meant to make you feel insignificant in a bad way. It is meant to crush your ego so that your soul can breathe. It reminds you that the things you are worrying about are tiny. And if they are tiny, they are manageable. From this vantage point, you can see that you are just a brief, flickering spark in the darkness. And that is okay. In fact, it is beautiful. It means you don't have to carry the weight of the world. You just have to glow for a little while. Now, slowly bring yourself back down. Throw the atmosphere. Throw the glass. Back into your city. Your room. Your body. Open your eyes. Notice how the silence in the room feels a little different now. That is perspective. But how shall we bring test into the messy reality of Monday morning? How shall we live a life that feels boring? The Stoics had a weapon for this. A phrase that transforms leading to gold. Amorphe translates roughly to love of fate. Now usually, when people talk about this in philosophy circles, they talk about loving the tragedies. Losing a job, a breakup, an illness. And yes, it applies there. But I think the more difficult challenge and the more necessary one for us is to apply amorphe to the mundane. Can you love the traffic jam? Can you love the pile of dirty dishes? Can you love the gray, rainy Tuesday when absolutely nothing interesting happens? Most of us treat these moments as trash time. Why to fast forward through them? We listen to podcasts at high speed. We scroll our phones while waiting in line, desperate to be entertained, desperate to be and we're about here. We treat present moment like an annoying commercial break, waiting for the real show to start. But the Stoic realized that the commercial break is the show. If you spend your whole life waiting for the exciting parts, you will live your existence. So, to practice is to fall in love with the texture of the ordinary. Next time you are washing the dishes, don't think about finishing. Feel the warmth of the water on your hands. Notice the light reflecting off the bubbles. Feel the weight of the plate. Be fully there. It sounds simple, almost childish, but it is a rebellion. It is a rebellion against the constant urge to be somewhere else. When you stop fighting really to win, we stop wishing you were doing something more important. As sudden, quiet joy emerges. You realize that you don't need to be at a gala or on a beach in Bali to be alive. You can be alive right here, in your kitchen, in your pajamas. And if you can find peace there, you are invincible. Because no one can take her away from you. This leads us to the final, critical shift. We need to redefine what success actually means. Society has given you a scorecard. It lists things like salary, job title, square footage of home, number of followers. We spend our lives trying to run up the score on this board. But the problem with this scorecard is that every single item on it is a preferred indifferent. That is Stoic speak for nice to have, but not essential for happiness and ultimately not under your control. You can work harder than anyone else and still get laid off because of a merger. You can be the perfect partner and still be left. You can be the healthiest person and still get sick. If your self-worth is tied to these external things, you are a slave to fortune. The Stoic proposed a different scorecard. One that is entirely internal. Success to a Stoic is not what did he achieve, but how did he behave. Did I act with courage when I was afraid? Did he treat others with justice when I was angry? Did he practice moderation when I wanted to overindulge? Did he use wisdom when I was confused? These are the 4 cardinal virtues. And the beautiful thing is, they are available to you in every single moment, regardless of your status. You can be a failure by society's standards, broke, unknown, struggling, and yet be a massive success by Stoic standards because you are bearing your burden vacate had dignity and kindness. This is the inner saddle. It is the fortress inside you that the world cannot touch. When you shift your ambition from getting stuff to building character, the anxiety evaporates. Because you can always build character. You can practice patience in the checkout line. You can practice generosity with a smile. You never zone out of opportunities to be great, because greatness isn't about the outcome, it's about the effort. So, let the wolf its race. Let them chase the wind. You are playing a different game now. You are building a sanctuary inside yourself. And as we begin to close this session, I want to offer you one last thought on the liberation of being nobody. There is a story about a philosopher who was insulted by a rude man in the public square. The man called him old, poor, and ugly. The philosopher simply smiled and said, "I am relieved. You have only listed things everyone can see. You obviously do not know my secret faults, or you would have mentioned those instead." There is such power in that. The power of not taking yourself so seriously. We are so afraid of being seen as less than. We polish our image, we correct our profiles, we defend our egos. But what if you just dropped it? What if you decided that you don't need to be impressed by yourself, and you don't need anyone else to be impressed either? Imagine walking through a crowded street. Imagine that you are invisible. No one knows your name. No one knows your job title. No one knows potential. You are just a consciousness witnessing the world. You see the sunlight hitting the pavement. You hear the rhythm of the city. You are not a product manager or a senior associate or a creative director. You are just a human being. A ghost in the machine. Doesn't that feel lighter? To be ordinary is to be camouflage. It allows you to move through the world wake up at ease, observing, learning, and enjoying without the heavy baggage of needing to be recognized. You become a traveler in life, rather than a state of waiting to be admired. You are free. So as we come to the end of our time together, I want you to sit with this new definition of your life. You are not a project. You are not a resume. You are not a potential waiting to be realized. You are a living, breathing part of the cosmos, exactly where you're supposed to be. The world will continue to scream at you. It will tell you to buy more, sell more, be more. It will try to make you feel small so that it can sell you the cur. But now you have a shield. You have the inner citadel. When that familiar anxiety starts to creep in, tightness in the chest that says, I should be doing something else, we want you to pause. Take a breath and whisper to yourself this Eno. I am Eno. You do not need to conquer the world. You only need to conquer yourself. You only need to master the art of your own mind. Let's seal this practice with a final moment of grounding. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the weight of your body in the chair or the bed. Notice the rhythm of your breath. In and out. There is nowhere else you need to be. There is nothing else you need to solve right now. Musonius Rufus, another great Stoic teacher, once said that philosophy is nothing more than the practice of living a good life. It is not about reading books or memorizing quotes. It is about how you walk through the door when you leave this room. It is about how you greet the person you love. It is about how you treat yourself when you make a mistake. Go out into your ordinary life and treat it with reverence. Treat your morning coffee like a sacred ritual. Treat your commute like a journey. Treat your work like a craft. You have everything you need. You always have. Thank you for spending this time in this quiet corner of the internet. It is a privilege to walk this path with you. If this message found you at the right time, and if you are ready to embrace the power of the present moment, I want you to leave a mark below. Comment the word stillness to set your intention. Let it be a signal to yourself and to this community that you are stepping off the treadmill, that you are choosing depth over speed. Walk well, my friend. And remember, the obstacle is the way, but the ordinary is the path. Goodbye for now.